Welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Jensen with Pilot Escapes. Today we're going to continue our journey along Route 66, and in this episode we're going to cover our trip from Albuquerque to Amarillo, Texas. We started this journey in Medford, hitting Los Angeles. From there to Sedona, which is actually not on Route 66, however, and then Santa Fe, Albuquerque, Amarillo, and then two more stops before we arrived in Chicago. So in this episode, it's all about Albuquerque and Amarillo. Actually, Albuquerque was not on our original itinerary. However, when I was looking at things to do and where to stop along Route 66, I discovered that while we were in Santa Fe, the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta was also happening at the same time. And since it was only a 40-minute drive from where we were staying, we decided to book some tickets. In fact, the first day we were in Santa Fe corresponded with the very first day of the Balloon Fiesta, which lasts about 9 days, 9 consecutive days. We decided to drive from Santa Fe to Albuquerque, which was actually faster than taking the Bonanza from Santa Fe to Albuquerque. We left Santa Fe around 5 a.m. and drove the 40 minutes to a central pickup location in Albuquerque. We were then loaded on buses and driven to the Balloon Fiesta Park. This is the easiest way to manage a visit, and that way you don't have to worry about driving, finding parking spot, and battling the traffic nightmare. Crowds typically reach over 100,000 people. So this is the main focus of this video, the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. And then from there, we're going to fly to Amarillo. And we'll show our flight from Santa Fe to Tradewind Airport. We spent a night in Amarillo before moving on. I really hope you enjoy this video because we had an absolute blast at the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, and I think it's something that every pilot should experience, and honestly, really every person would enjoy. So there are a couple of options as far as flying to Albuquerque for the Balloon Fiesta. Again, we landed at Santa Fe just because it's only a 40-minute drive, and we prefer Santa Fe to bigger cities. It's a little bit more intimate experience. Everything in the Santa Fe area is walkable, and they have a host of our favorite restaurants. We have a whole video on Santa Fe along Route 66 that explains why it's our favorite Southwest city. The disadvantage of staying in Santa Fe when going to the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta is the 40-minute drive, which means you have to get up about an hour earlier than you usually would if you were staying in Albuquerque to go see the balloons taking off early in the morning. The other option is to land at Double Eagle Airport, KAEG, in Albuquerque. Honestly, I've never landed there, but it appears to be an ideal location when traveling to Albuquerque. Albuquerque's Double Eagle Airport, it lies northwest of the city, right at the edge of Albuquerque International Sunport Airport's Class Charlie airspace. Although KAEG is farther from downtown, it has no landing or facility fees and has cheaper fuel. Arrivals from the Northeast should be aware of the potential for extreme turbulence along the 160 nautical mile stretch of mountains between La Veta Pass and the Sandia Mountains east of Albuquerque. The Sangre de Cristo Mountains that extend 120 nautical miles from La Veta Pass south to the Santa Fe Airport are notorious for producing dangerous mountain waves and rotors. So it's very important to check winds aloft, turbulence reports. If winds exceed 20 knots, I would make a detour around the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. Although Double Eagle Airport lies just outside the Albuquerque Class Charlie airspace, it's a good idea to get advisories from Albuquerque Approach on 127.4 due to the high airline and military traffic in the area. Double Eagle has 2 local long runways. Be sure you're lined up for the correct one before you land, especially if it's constructed to land on either runways 17 or 22, since these runways form a V and it's easy to get one runway confused with the other. Bode Aero off the approach end of runway 22 has tie downs, maintenance, oxygen, and a large pilot lounge. Upstairs, you'll find the Bombing Range Cafe, which offers breakfast, lunch, and runway views. So let's talk about the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. So the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta is the world's largest hot air balloon fiesta in the world. It's held the very first full week of October every year, and that's primarily because of weather. The weather pattern is called the Albuquerque box and depends in part on the cool Albuquerque morning temperatures in October, which also makes it the best time to fly into that area for private pilots. The Albuquerque box is a set of predictable wind patterns that can be exploited to navigate the balloons. At low elevations, the winds tend to be northerly or from the north, and at higher elevations, they tend to be southerly. This is a great advantage to the balloonists who use these winds to navigate in this vertical box. They ascend slightly from the launch park, move south, then ascend further and move north. They can then descend and repeat the flight path in the box or land back at the launch park or at a spot nearby. The event is held at the Balloon Fiesta Park, from which the balloons are launched. It's located on the north edge of the city. The park is a multi-use field and is home to many other events throughout the year. In 2005, the Anderson of Abruzzo Albuquerque International Balloon Museum was opened on the grounds, and that's also a good thing to visit. As I mentioned before, the easiest way to get to the park is buying tickets online. You can get them from the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta website. These are quite reasonable. I think we paid like $15 to $20 per person, and that gives you a round-trip ride from one of about 3 different locations in the city. Usually these are malls where you can find large parking areas. And it also includes admission to the park. Once you've parked, then you jump on a bus that takes you to the park, and from there you walk to the area where the balloons launch. Couple of caveats: I would recommend arriving a little bit early so as not to miss the early morning launch. Also dress warm, as the mornings can be quite chilly in October. Also bring something to sit on, a collapsible chair, the smaller the better. But there's absolutely no place to sit in the park. Also, I would bring something to munch on and plenty of water or a thermos with coffee, as there are very few services in and around the launch site. By the time you'll leave, you'll probably be quite warm, so I'd bring a hat, sunglasses, and some sunblock. We will leave a PDF in the comments as to the above recommendations and websites where you can buy your tickets. One of the most popular events of the Fiesta is where all participating balloons launch in 2 waves, filling the sky with hundreds of balloons at once. Launch directors, also known as zebras, because of their black and white striped outfits, serve as traffic cops, coordinating the launch so balloons leave the field in a safe and coordinated manner. The first wave of the mass ascension typically begins around 7 a.m., around the time of Albuquerque sunrise in early October. There have been a couple incidents. There have been 2 reported incidents exactly 20 years apart, actually involving the same radio tower. On October 9th, 2004, while landing, a Smokey Bear imaged balloon collided with and became entangled in one of KKOB's radio transmitter towers. The 3 passengers were fortunate enough to be able to climb out of the basket and onto the tower and safely escape. And then on the morning of October 11th, 2 days after we were there in 2024, a balloon named Blue Moon from Tucson, Arizona, collided with one of the guy wires of the same tower, KKOB, causing the whole tower to collapse. Miraculously, no one was injured in this incident, and the pilot subsequently made a safe landing. Another note, the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta is the most photographed event in the world. So continuing our way along Route 66 to Chicago, our next stop was Amarillo, Texas.
Bonanza 7226 Kilo, Santa Fe Tower, right turn approved, wind 30 at 3, runway 2, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff on 2, right turn out 7226 Kilo, thank you.
Santa Fe Tower, Skylane 736 Quebec, would like to go over to Albuquerque Center for flight following, if I could.
Sure, 7363 Quebec, Santa Fe Tower, you're well outside the Delta, frequency change at your discretion, Albuquerque Center 132.8, good day.
Okay, thanks for all your help. 32.8, 6 for Quebec.
Sure, it's 1 Zulu Tiger, yes sir, continue via Alpha, just monitor ground. Care Flight 5, have a good day.
Care Flight 5, thanks.
No one's really staying. I had a signature after left, but they park over by that red Cirrus is where they put the props.
And the main reason I wanted to stop here was to see the famed Cadillac Ranch, which is honestly a little bit of an anticlimactic event. But I absolutely had to stop and get that Instagram shot. But first, I want to go over the flight into Amarillo. So from Santa Fe to Amarillo, it takes about an hour and 20 minutes in the Bonanza. We flew at 11,000 feet. It's relatively flat terrain and there's not much in the way of scenery. Approaching Amarillo, we got a bird's eye view, however, of the Cadillac Ranch just along the highway. We landed at Tradewind Airport, KTDW. It lies just beneath the Amarillo Class Charlie airspace with a ceiling of about 4,800 feet. It has 2 runways, 35 and 17 and 0523.
Tradewind traffic, Bonanza 7226 Kilo is 3 to the west, 4,600, be making right downwind approach 23, Tradewind. Tradewind traffic, Bonanza 7226 Kilo is right downwind for 23, Tradewind. Trade wind traffic, Bonanza 7226 kilo, right base 23, trade wind. Pass, undercarriage, mixture, prop. Trade wind traffic, Bonanza 7226 kilo, short final 23.
The FBO at Tradewin is in a beautiful terminal building. It has an excellent restaurant, Shelby's. The person at the front desk said it was the best restaurant in town for breakfast, and she was spot on.
Strawberry.
Really good.
We ended up eating there twice, once when we arrived and just before departing. Our rental car was waiting for us, and from there we drove out to see the Cadillacs. Now, Cadillac Ranch was originally located in a wheat field, but in 1997 the installation was quietly moved by a local contractor to a location 2 miles to the west in a cow pasture along Interstate 40. And this was in order to place it further away from the city limits. Both sites belong to a gentleman, Stanley Marsh. Cadillac Ranch is visible from the air, and though located on private land, visiting it by driving along the frontage road and entering the pasture by walking through an unlocked gate is tacitly encouraged. In addition, writing graffiti or otherwise spray painting the vehicles is now encouraged, and the vehicles, which have long since lost their original colors, are wildly decorated. The cars are periodically repainted various colors, once white for the filming of a television commercial, another time pink in honor of Stanley's wife Wendy's birthday, and again all 10 cars were painted flat black to mark the passing of Ant Farm artist Doug Michaels. After a visit to Cadillac Ranch, we checked into the Barfield Hotel in downtown Amarillo. We originally had reservations to eat at the Big Texan Steakhouse, best known for its 72-ounce, 4.5-pound steak. The steak is free to anyone who, in 1 hour or less, can eat the entire meal, which consists of the steak itself, a bread roll with butter, a baked potato, shrimp cocktail, and a side salad. Otherwise, the meal costs $72. Those who have successfully consumed the 72-ounce steak challenge have their names recorded and posted at the restaurant. The table at which the steak is eaten is recorded on a 24/7 live stream, which can be found on the restaurant's website. To date, over 10,000 people out of about 90,000 people who attempted this challenge have accomplished this feat. Those who take on the 72-ounce steak challenge are required to sign a waiver acknowledging the rules. They pay for the meal in advance, and If they are successful, their money is then refunded. The steak is cooked to the participants' preference. Before the challenge officially begins, participants are allowed one bite of the steak to verify it's cooked to their liking. The record for the shortest time was on May 26, 2014, by a 120-pound competitive eater, Molly Schuler, who polished off the meal in just 4 minutes and 58 seconds and came back for seconds, 14 minutes and 57 seconds for both meals. She did not, however, eat a third steak. Schuler returned on April 19th, 2015, and would finish her first meal in 4 minutes, 18 seconds, beating her own record by 40 seconds. She had defeated 4 other team members of competitors in the challenge, devouring 2 more meals in 20 minutes. Anyhow, we did not eat at the Texan Steakhouse. We canceled our reservations. We were not interested in the challenge. We ended up actually eating at our hotel restaurant, and it turned out to be an outstanding dinner. Plus it had the added benefit of being able to walk back to our room. The restaurant was the Toscana Italian Steakhouse, and I think we had a better dinner than we would have had at the Big Texan Steakhouse. So on to the next stop. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. We will be posting more videos on Route 66 shortly. Thank you.